Good morning and happy Monday. It's time for some book talks. First one I'm going to talk about is The Paper Girls of Paris. And I do apologize. That's just so incredibly hard to see. It's actually a really pretty pink and blue cover. The Paper Girls of Paris refers to the idea that young women were once used to distribute flyers during the Resistance, during World War II in Paris, France, and all across France. If you've heard me talk about any kind of books, I've talked about female resistance fighters in France in World War II before. It is a very popular theme in book writing right now, and this one delivers the exact same premise. But the idea is that women could do things that men couldn't because no one assumed that women were capable of deception or intrigue or espionage. They didn't think women could do these things, so women could, in fact, do all of these things and avoid detection most of the time. This story is particularly interesting to me because it's actually set in a modern day time period where a young girl is left a Paris apartment by her grandmother, who never spoke about Paris. Not once, not ever. They knew she grew up there. They knew that she immigrated to America, and that was it. They didn't know anything about it. And when they walk into the apartment, it is a literal dust-covered time capsule. So I do love a book that sets itself in current times and in a past time, and this book does the same. So we hear from the aunts, and then we hear from the young girl who has inherited the apartment. And of course, because it's a book of almost any kind, there's a tiny little romance built in it, both in the past timeline and in the current one. I did enjoy it. We may get it for the library, but if we don't, we have other books about female resistance fighters, so if that's a topic you'd like to explore, we definitely have those books. Alright, and then, because it's spooky season, I'm supposed to be reading scary books, and I don't like scary books, I reread books about serial killers. So The Naturals is a group of teenagers who have all sort of special skills. They're not like supernatural skills, but one of them is really good at detecting lies. One of them is really good at reading emotions. Two of them are actually natural profilers, so they can look at someone or look at some evidence and determine who did these things. And one of them is brilliant with numbers. And they talk about in the book a lot, the reason that they're good at these things is because they had to learn them to survive their childhoods. So it's not really a happy-go-lucky kind of book series. In the first one, there is a serial killer that they're trying to find. The premise of their program, which is sanctioned by the FBI, is that they work cold cases. So they use their skills on old interviews and old recordings and see if they can solve old cases. But of course, life happens and they get sucked into current cases. So book one is called The Naturals, and this case mostly revolves around the one girl, Cassie, who has just been recruited to the program. So she's the newcomer. She comes into a house with 4 other naturals. I also read book 2. There's 4, and I'll be talking about the other 2 next week, but I haven't gotten through them all. This one's called Killer Instincts, and this one centers around Dean, one of the other profilers, and a case that sort of sucks him and his past into it. They are slightly more gruesome than I would like it a mystery. They are classic sort of whodunits, but what's interesting is the way the teenagers approach the information and the way the adults in their life at first try and very much shield them from the information and then say, but we need some help, serious help, so y'all better get over here and put your lives in danger because we need to solve this crime. I think maybe that's how parents are in general, adults in charge are in general. It's nice to keep you safe, and then when push comes to shove, sometimes keeping everyone safe is a bigger denominator than just keeping an individual safe. But so serial killer series in mystery, they're actually very good. I read them at 5 or 6 years ago, so there's a lot that seems fresh to me, and I really am enjoying them. If you guys read something good or have a spooky but not scary story, come tell me about it.